Oh, I am live. Hi, surviving cancer. How are you today? Hi, Litton. Hi, Graham. Good to see you all today. Hi, Sarah. I'm going to see if my guest can come now because I've been trying to get her on. There's my guest. All right, there we go.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing? I couldn't get you on, so if I start the live, then bring you in, okay? Rather than try to deal with technology, right?
Thanks a lot. I was struggling a lot to find it where it is.
The thing is not to stress, just to take a deep breath, knowing that everything is going to work out as it always supposed to. Okay? And if not, there's always a workaround, right?
Yes.
Hi, Fanny. So, you are the mystery lady, okay? I don't even know. I don't even know your name. All I know is Diva Dialogue, okay? And that was good enough for me because when you presented yourself to me with this proposal, I'm like, who is this lady? Okay. She said, let's collaborate. I like, okay. She brought her A game. I don't even know who she is. I still don't know her first name. Anyway, it didn't matter because our chemistry was on lock. Okay. And we had such a wonderful conversation. It didn't even matter what your name was. Okay, because I have met many strangers along my life's journey, and they helped me. Okay, and what their name was really was irrelevant because most 9 times out of 10, I would never see them again anyway. And that was the spirit working for that person to come into my path to help me uh, out. Okay, and you were there, and I'm like, oh, and you were so welcoming and bubbly. And I'm like, how could I turn you away? You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Thanks a lot, Margaret.
No, see,
Uh,
there are times that you want to turn people away, and there's other times you want to embrace them. Okay. But this was not that time. So please introduce yourself so I will also know your name and more about
oh,
yourself.
okay. Thanks will do also for the people because I think many people are curious and I always kept postponing. So since it's Diva's dialogue, many people thought it's Divyas, an Indian name, and many people thought I'm from India and they would come right to me on Hindi and stuff. And I'm like, I don't understand. And so I think it's going to be a big surprise for many people. So my name is Joanna. Um, so it's written with an X. We are actually connected on LinkedIn, but there's always so you can find me on LinkedIn all and on Instagram. So it's XHOANA, which is Joanna, is written in Albanian. And it means the same as Giovanna in every other language, actually. So no secrets over there.
Okay. Yeah. So, you want to tell us more?
Yes.
Okay.
But
Right.
okay, what can I say? So um I've been working for the last 11 years, 11 and a half actually. I started working since I was 18, so do not calculate my age. And I wanted to be a boss lady, you know? And when I told I just ended high school and then was on my first year of university. And I tell them, you know what? I'm going to Greece to work. So I went on an island to work for holidays. I'm good. And they were shocked because back then was not common, you know, to work. And they were like, why are you working? You don't need to work. You know, there was a big shock for everyone. And I was like, no, I want to make my own money. I want to be a boss lady. I want to be financially independent. Imagine at 18 with coming with all these. And then I went, and actually, I earned a lot of money in the sense, not, but for 18 years old, having, oh my God, that feeling was amazing. So, being 18, and you have zero responsibility, and though so you have all this money, and but of course I saved because I knew it. I wanted to come abroad to study and so on. But the feeling that I could buy whatever I wanted, it's such a great feeling. I don't know how to
I know
explain.
that's right. I can only imagine. Go on.
Okay, okay. You're like keep going. So yeah, so this is how it started. I went every summer to work. On holidays, I was working as a sales assistant, and when on the port. So it was an island, and when the cruises ship would arrive, I would welcome, and I learned a lot about sales. I was a lot on souvenirs. I learned a lot about clothes and premium brands because I was like dealing with luxury handbags and handmade shoes. And I was someone who didn't care at all. So I was very nerdy as a person. So I would read a lot, and I was very nerdy. So I would read books all day, every day. And imagine someone who goes there, and I would search, I would get fascinated by this feminine world, so to say. I would see women spending like 1,000, 3,000 K on bags, like buying bags and going crazy, and men going around after them. It was so surprising to me. And then I was reading. So during the day I was working and enjoying, but during the night I was reading. It fascinated me, because doesn't make sense. So it's not logical, it's not objective, it's very subjective. So I got more and more into it, and the psychology, human behavior, and I got really good at it. And I was a manager in 3 months, actually. Everybody. So yeah, I was like working, and I really enjoyed. And to be honest, I had no life. So I was working 11, 13 hours. I really enjoyed because I met people from all over the world. I learned a lot of languages and so on. I felt alive. I don't know, when you are like meeting so many new people, learning so many new things and so on. But I wouldn't recommend. So I wouldn't do it now, to be honest. I wouldn't recommend. The older you get, that's why they say do not go for work-life balance when you're young. When you're young, you should experience, you should learn, you should do all the things you can. Because when you are older, you don't want to do that anymore, and you have no time or energy left to do it. So yeah, I'd give different advice to different people in different age brackets. Okay. Um, yeah, so that was it. Then I studied. I finished my degree. I was top of my class, so I was like, um, and then I wanted to come abroad. It was like this feeling. I want to go abroad. I want to explore the world. I want to travel. I want to meet the people from all over the world. So with the money that I had collected from the time I was working and a bit, and I was trying to figure out how to do it and so on because it was so difficult. So, and then I managed to come to Germany to study for my master's. Okay, so
Okay.
and then I came here. Was you? It's I always say you think you've arrived, but then when the game starts, you just finish a level of the game, so to say. You think, okay, I got the visa, I got I don't know, the job, I got the master's degree application, and you think that's it. Time to celebrate, pop up the champagne, but that's not it. You just started again the next level. Um, and so, yeah, it was very difficult because it was everything in English, and you had to speak German. So also the university is tough. So you have to work really hard and study hard and to find a job, to maintain myself, blah, blah, blah. So there are many things, and to find friends, and to travel the world. So it depends what you want in life. But I think I wanted to have it all, like I wanted to have the friends, I wanted to have the work, I wanted to have the studies, I wanted to have everything. And I'm not ashamed of it, but has a price. What I'm trying to say, it do not get, because my entire life I've been called too ambitious, and some people got scared. The point is, yeah, and it will come with a price, even if you are ambitious or if you are not ambitious. Both sides have pros and cons. And as I said, I'm not ashamed. You should live, especially when you're young. Be as ambitious as you can, you know? If the people around you are not ambitious enough, you need other people, definitely. Um, but yeah, so I was like, the German people are so nice. They are once you break the ice, but you need some time to break the ice. So sometimes,
That's true. I lived in
yeah.
Germany. Let me ask you something. I'm sorry to cut you off because I lived in this village, I guess, called Pusenheim when I was in Würzburg, no, Wiesbaden. Anyway, everybody was real quiet when I came, but when I left, they was all giving me candy and flowers and stuff like that. I don't know if that was a compliment or what.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I also say Germans are, once you get to know them, and it's about trust, you know? So at first, everybody thinks, oh, they are so cold and so on. Because it's tough to break or to get in or to get to know. It's about once you get to know them, and they are very nice, they are very trustworthy, very reliable, very honest. So yeah, do not get scared by Germans, basically. So, because many people think that they are cold or it's very hard to be friends with Germans and so on. Mm, yeah. So, this was during the university time, and I've also talked about this. Not here, but you deserve to know the whole story. So I was in North Germany, so which is next to Denmark, so in the border, and unfortunately it had no good job, so to say, no job prospect. So I could not find any job in my profession because I was studying finance. I wanted, in Germany there is a program which is called working student or intern, so you work in your field. So, and there was no such thing, so I couldn't find it, and I tried to do everything I can. So I was volunteering a lot, I was working for the university, and one of my jobs was actually as a cleaner at Aida, which is the cruise ship, the German cruise ship. Not a cleaner, housekeeper. So you go take out all the sheets, you have like 3 minutes, and then you go to the other room and you do that for 70 rooms on a row, and it's a bit insane. So first of all, it's a free fitness, free gym pass, because I was really fit, because you go from one room to the room. And that was also kind of the sales. I explained this. I want to share the whole story. So it was a cruise ship, and you would get the shift, so to say, and you'd get one shift, and depending on your performance, you'd get the other shifts. So when you go there, they will give you a list of 50 rooms, and they will say we had 5 hours, only 0.5 liter of water, so no lunch, no food, nothing. So you'd go there and you'll get this list and you'll go to the rooms. But the funny thing is that you wouldn't get the rooms in an order. One would be here like 120, the other would be on completely opposite side, like 179, I don't know, stuff like that. But the point is that you wouldn't get next shift if you didn't perform well in this one. So wait, and now when you go to the room, since many of the people have stayed there for a long time, you'd get a lot of tips. Almost everyone, wait for it because it's funny. Everyone would leave tips on the rooms. So they would leave like five, the minimum would be like 2-3 euros. Some would have, I have a lot of Norwegian, Danish, Swedish money on my portfolio. So, and then you'd leave 5 euro, 10 euros, some even 50. These are Swedes would leave a lot of money. The funny thing is that everybody knew this, right? There were like 5 to 10 people jumping for this money. This is a funny thing. And some of them, that's why I call it office politics without being in an office, because they would be like, and they would even do everything they could so they could arrive the first there. They wanted to be the first to arrive there. So, and they would be like, oh, go to this room. Oh, I heard she's looking for you. Oh, so they'll distract you and go there before you. And you had to be very fast because you had 3 minutes to take everything out. So every bed sheet, every pillow, literally everything, and to finish everything on time, get the because the point was on tips. Actually, I think I got more on tips than I got on my salary, and it was great for a student. It was the highest paying job there, you know. And it made me think, because all the people that work there were like, most were from India or the Philippines, and they were bankers, they were accountants, so they were doing great jobs back home. And they said, I get more money if I come here than if I stay there, and I'm doing this for my kids. So they would spend 6 months or 1 year traveling abroad. Traveling, it's not really traveling, so they're working. But that what made me think that all these people are professionals. They were super smart, and like, putting on bed sheets all day long and removing bed sheets. And this is what made me think about, as I said, office politics. Without being in an office, you don't need a good dress, you don't need a suit. You'll find them everywhere. So yeah.
I like your style.
I don't know if I, yeah, so I mean, and and I wanted to say, this is how I kept getting shift after shift, because you had to be good, you had to finish on time. Then after you finish on time, you had to help other people who didn't finish on time, which made me think how the corporate world works, because this is how you do it. So the good employees take the slack from the bad one, so they, how can I say, you're doing a great job. Let me give you some more, let me give you some more and more. And this is how it works.
Exactly. In the federal government too. So, and then if you slack off and your productivity go down, oh well, we need to talk to you about your
Performance.
performance,
Yeah.
okay? So it's like damn if you do, damn if you don't.
True, 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 true. But that's why you need to manage it. I mean, and that's why that it made me think, because meanwhile I was studying quantitative finance. I was studying Master of Science, and I was doing very tough subject. So I was doing three statistics, three econometrics. So I was doing same subject as an PhD. And imagine doing this during the week, and on the weekends you are working as a housekeeper. Your brain has a bit of, a shock, a glitch in the matrix. What's going on? And I realized, and when I got the tips, because I was getting paid a lot, which is more, and sometimes that's why people get stuck in these low professions, which are highly paid, because it's very, that's why I say you should be very careful, and you should really know what you want. So, and I was thinking, I have to be smart everywhere. It's not about cleaning, and it's not about bed sheets, and this is what I thought. I'm like, if these people that are like banker accountants are here and are making more money here, it made me realize that I really should be smart about it, about my life choices, about what I want, because everywhere you have to be smart. It's has nothing to do with cleaning or being in a bank or sitting 8 hours per day, or I don't know. Everywhere you have to deal with people, everywhere you have to deal with perception, with power dynamics, with little games, with distraction. So you'll find that literally everywhere.
Go
So
on.
yeah. And yeah, and I was like, I need to find my way. Otherwise I'll be stuck here forever. This is, I always did that. So after, also when I was working as a sales assistant, my previous boss, which is great, I've learned a lot. So it's very rare to find good bosses, and was one of the best. And he was yearly, year after year, he would search for me. He would come back and say, "Hey, come back, come back. I need you. I've never found someone as good as you," and stuff like that. And I never went back, because I promised myself I will never do. You sometimes you have to lock the door if you want to move to the next level. Otherwise, if you keep going back, it will never end. And the same happened with this housekeeping and the job. While I was a student, and as I said, it's also my ego couldn't take it. You are in Germany studying Master of Science, and you so you came with big dreams, and you are here doing the housekeeping. It's a bit of a shock. But which really helped me, to be honest. and the money was good. But you have to know what you want in life and go for it, no matter how hard it is. And I said, I need to lock the door now. Otherwise, I'll keep doing this and I'll never find my way. And yes, I did so. So I was applying them for internships for 6 months straight, and rejection after rejection after rejection. And I would jump on a train to go to Frankfurt, to Munich, to wherever I had an opportunity. And I would take like 2 days to write the perfect CV, to take a professional picture, blah, etc., etc. And I went on in Frankfurt. I think was I don't know in that. So I was applying to big companies because that was a dream. I didn't know any better. I was applying to all the good companies, like Fortune 100, Fortune 500. I want to do this. I want to do that. I think that's why college is a bit delulu. It's not connected to the job market whatsoever. You have no idea how it works, and so on. And I would go there, and I had zero experience. So how to interview, how to properly react, how to. I was missing literally everything. So we would just try and error and finding out on the way. And so I was jumping from one train to another, going after that. And when I went there, I was so excited, like way too much, to be honest. And then I drank a lot of I also wrote a post about that. I drank a lot of water and coffee because I was nervous. And at the middle of the interview, I was like, sorry, can I go to the bathroom? And of course, I didn't get the job because I was like too excited, too nervous. You could tell I was like, ooh, you know. And I kept applying and applying and applying and applying. And the funny thing, how I got a job after I was super nervous, not only nervous but sad. Imagine 6 months straight applying, getting nothing. Um, Now at 5 p.m. on a Friday, I get a phone call. And I was like, and somebody's like, "Hi, hello, how are you? Do you have time now for a short interview?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?" And they tell me, I received your CV apparently on Facebook group. I was on a university page, and they were like, "Hey, we're looking for interns. Whoever wants can share their CV." Blah, blah, blah. And apparently I did. Like, it was 5 minutes. And this person tells me, "Hi, how are you? We want to have a short interview now. What do you think, etc." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." And and then they were like, okay, what are you studying? Do you know this? Do you know that? It was very short. And then we jumped on another call, and voila, I had a job in 2 short phone calls. And that's why I think sometimes you go through so much hardships, and then comes a moment and you think, are you joking? And you get it out of nowhere. And this was an investment bank, which is super famous, by the way. I don't want to say the name. It's worldwide. And I was getting hired at the headquarters, just like that.
There you
Yes.
go.
Yeah. There I go. I mean, there I go with now if you say it's like that, it's success. Overnight success, but it took me 20 years, so it's not as overnight.
You were manifesting it the whole time, and you were being molded and shaped into this position that you got. Okay. It was a process that you had to go through. Okay. And look at you today.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. So I'm very grateful, actually. I think every step moves you further. And yeah, so I was very excited. And that was in Munich. So I had to move, and that is over 1,000 kilometers. It's from the very north to the very south. So I had to go and I had no place to where to live, no nothing. I had just a yes. The rest you'll have to figure it out. And I did it somehow. And yeah, so I was and it was 2020. And the funny thing is, the moment I went, it's like it was 1 month, 2 months, and Corona started. Everything was locked, and everything was crazy. People were scared, and I was going to the office 5 times a day, which for me was very helpful because I would go crazy otherwise. I learned a lot. I was working a lot like crazy, and I loved it. So because I never knew how to give less than 100%. And Oh, thanks a lot. I don't know who's writing, but
That was
oh yeah.
something anonymous said, beautiful story and very inspiring. What's meant for you is yours, and what isn't. What an encouragement to keep going.
Yes. So I'll take 5 minutes because I need to charge my phone. I'll come back in a second.
Okay.
Yes. Um. Hopefully that's. Let me try. Hopefully it works. Yes. All right.
Very
So
good. Uh-oh, she'll be back.
now.
Yes, you're good.
All right. Okay. So as I was saying, I went there. I had no plan, and I found a room in a student dormitory, actually, which was as which is public, so was very cheap. It was like 230, but the catch was here that there were 10 people living in the floor with open kitchen and shared bathroom. Yeah. Wait, it's funny now because Corona started. Everybody was there all
Oh,
the time. Yes. So you can imagine. You're like, okay. And the funny thing is, when I went there, I was like, I thought I was like, my luck. Exactly my luck. What did I deserve? What did I do to deserve this? I thought, oh my God, this is horrible. Which was completely the opposite. Was the best time of my life. The people were amazing. We were eating dinner, lunch together. We're celebrating. We're getting to know each other. And another person offered me a job afterwards. So this is, I think, every time you think you are in your deepest or the darkest place, there is a very nice story that I love. It's the Chinese farmer. I'm going to share a bit. I'm going to take a moment
please,
to yeah.
please.
So there is this Chinese farmer that his horse leaves abruptly. So they are like, everybody tells them, "Oh, I'm really sorry. That's such a bad news. What you're gonna do now?" And the Chinese farmer says, "I don't know about that. It might be good news or bad news." Now, the next day, the horse comes back with two other horses. So he had three horses instead of one. And now, again, the other farmers come back and they say, "Wow, that's great news." So, enjoy. And he's again, "Okay, I don't know about that. It can be good news or bad news." And then the next day, assume that every day happens something new, and his kid, so his guy, his boy, his son, so rides a horse and gets hurt. So he fell from the horse, and then everybody's like, "Oh my God, such bad news! I'm really sorry that that happened to you." And he's like, "I don't know about that. It can be good news or bad news." And then the government or the army came to search for his son, so he joined the army. But since he couldn't, because he fell and he's on the bed, he couldn't join. And everybody was like, "Oh my God, that's great news because your son is with you and he doesn't have to join the army or to go somewhere." And he's every time, "I don't know about that. It can be good news or bad news." So what I'm trying to say is like this can go on and on and on and on. It's all about perception and how you see things. In the sense that you may think you're in your darkest moments, but actually it can be your greatest moment. So let's be more like the Chinese farmer.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say, yeah. So I was working a lot. That's what I'm saying. I never knew how to balance it. I always working harder and harder. So I was working 110%. I wanted to show myself. I don't know how to, like, please take me. I think it came from this need that I needed a full-time job. I needed a work visa. All these immigrant mindset, that comes from lack, unfortunately. When I look back, I'm like, woman, because if they like you and if you are a good fit, you don't have to suffer for it, it will come to you. So yeah, I was trying so hard to get a full-time position there. And at some point I was like, I think I did my share of mistakes for sure, in the sense that I was working really, really hard, which I also wrote about this. Is like when you work extremely hard and the others are not working as hard, because to be honest, I was working like 3 to 5 people. And some of them just want to take their salary, do their work, and go home at 5, which is totally fine. But it's like you being sober in a club full of drunk people, you're not cool. you you are making everybody else look lazy, so you're the bad one, so you'll be the target practice.
Yeah, you're the bad
So
guy.
yeah, exactly. So what I'm trying to say is that I was working hard, but I did not know. That's why I was very naive, in the sense that I thought that if you work hard, you'll find your way. Somebody will notice you, would say, "Oh my God, you did a great job. Here is your title. Here's your promotion. Here's your money." Doesn't work like that in real life, unfortunately, and
No.
nobody taught us this. And so I was like, okay, I don't want to, because they offered me another internship. They were like, do an internship after an internship. And as I said again, I was like, no, I'm not doing an internship. I am ready for full-time position. I had this, sometimes I think, I don't know if it's called perseverance or stupidity. Some might call it delusion. But I am very, when I know that the chapter is closed, I do not go for it any further. So they were like, um you can stay, blah blah blah. So fake promises, basically. I was like, where's my contract? Where do I sign now? And when I didn't get it, I was like very sure what I wanted. I'm going for the full-time position. I know what I want, and I'll go for it. Yeah, resilience. Thanks. Um, and yeah, so I was very sure. I had nothing lined up, so literally zero. And I was just, I know I don't want to do another internship. I know I want to start working full time. I want to get my residence permit. I want to get my work visa. I want to live like a normal human being in my home apartment, in my own apartment. So I knew it, all of this. And I didn't know, maybe also manifestation, but I was so stubborn about it. So there was nothing that could change my mind. And then I applied like crazy, over 300 applications, and I would have like 3 to 4 interviews per day. So that was literally for
Wow.
2 months. So that was literally my full time job. I would jump on a call after call, and on LinkedIn, on Zing. So I was adding people, writing. So literally zero shame. I always say this: if you have zero money, you should have zero shame. So everybody I met, I was like, I'm looking for a job. Can you recommend me? Do you know someone? Tell someone who knows someone. So you cannot play it cool. If you need something, go for it. You cannot, because this is what I notice, and I know many people tell me, "Oh, you have zero shame. You mean business, stuff like that." And I'm like, "Hell yeah! I mean, like, why should I play cool? It's like, and then, yeah. So as I said, one of my neighbors offered me a job, which was in technology, so as a developer, and I didn't want that, unfortunately. But I said, okay, as a plan B might work, because it was paid very less, because they were like, oh, we're gonna train you, etc., etc. And I wanted in my own field on what I wanted to do. And funny thing, I found a job in consulting, so that everybody dreams of, but I had no idea. Consulting was never my dream. But I was, and the company I worked before was one of the main clients of this company. And because of my previous work experience, they were like, oh my God, yes, now, you know? That's why I
Yes.
say, and I got the job within 2 weeks. So literally everything happens within 2 weeks. I had the first interview, second interview. I went in, I gave a presentation, a case study, I signed, and I started, boom, in 2 weeks.
Perfect. Perfect. Because
So
that job was meant for you. It just boom.
yeah,
Sometimes things just fall right into your lap at the best time.
yes, yes, yes. And this is now the HR was super nice. So because I like nice people that are, are different, not just because some say do not make friends at work. And I know that I generally say do not trust HR, but they are people too, that's why it's
True.
like, and so she was super nice, and she was running an NGO. So she was French. I was running an NGO, and she was like, "Please like my page," and so on. And I see her page, and I say, "Whoa, love this! I want to do this for Albania, and also I want to create a franchise and so on." And she now, that's why I say sometimes I think everything is connected and everything is meant to be. So it will send you to the next and next step. And that's why I think everything happens for a reason. Now she is like, okay, let me tell them, the headquarter, or I don't know, the CEO, the founder about this and so on. And I have a call with her and so on. And I create an NGO, like a franchise for Albania, and that was for Pepite Succeed. It's very famous in French. It's like very famous. And then she had it for Germany. I had it for Albania. Then it was the headquarter in France. And I learned a lot because meanwhile I was doing the page. I was like doing a lot of graphic design and learning on the side and so on. And over time, I realized that I really love this, doing this, all the marketing thing and the graphic design. So I'm a self-taught, so to say, graphic designer and market and so on. But I really loved the job as well. I was really good. At least that's what I thought, I'm good at my job. I like doing it and so on. I learned a lot because in consulting, I would recommend everyone when they start out, like fresh out of college when they are young, I would recommend everyone to join consulting for 1 or 2 years because you learn a lot. So the amount of projects, companies, people that you learn, you're not never going to learn anywhere else. But there's a but. Do not do it in the long run. This is my perception. So if you do it for like 5, 10 years, it's insane. You cannot keep up with it, and it's not worth it, in my opinion. So people have different opinions. They are pros and cons. In the short run, you get a lot. So the learning curve is very steep. You get to know many companies, how it works, and you see it from the outside and from the inside. I would recommend everyone out of college to join. Yeah, I was really good at my job. I loved it because it was a mixture of everything. So it was a bit of analytics, strategy, different projects, different people. And then after 1 year, I wanted more financial projects, but I think everybody wanted digitalization, wanted software development and so on. And out of nowhere, I became a project manager. Was like, they were like, do you want to be a project manager? I was like, sure. So I was like, but yeah, so I became a project manager out of nowhere, but I was dumped again because they gave me the title with no pay, no raise, no official, nothing. So you're just like, here you go, more work for you. Great. And then, yeah, so I was handling like 2, 3 projects at the same time, and they would promise me a raise, and they would be like every 1 month, every 3 months, you're doing a great job, you deserve a raise, and I'm like, okay, but where is the raise? I don't see it. Is he here? Is in the room with us? And then, and then, but that's at some point I was frustrated because I was like, are you kidding me? Do I look like a 3 years old? And because they would mention it all the time, even though I didn't, because at first I was like, I need to get to be 2 years in the company. Because if you know the rules, you know the rules here. To get the work visa and to get the permanent, you need to stay 2 years in the same job, etc. And I was like, I had it fixed. I want to stay 2 years here. But this drove me insane. They would meet me and say this over and over again, like, you're doing a great job, you deserve a raise. And I'm like, okay, give it to me, like uh, and that's why this is like kind of managers or people that say this to keep you there, they keep
Of
saying
course.
it, but at some point you are like, it moves in the other direction. It drives you crazy. It's like either you don't say it or you say it and you do it, either or
Or
shut up,
speak.
like, exactly, zip it. And then and then, so I was literally frustrated, and I asked them after that we had this annual review, and I write down everything I did and the literally everything, and they're like, "Yeah, you're doing great." And because I was doing also extra stuff, so apart from the job, I was doing internal mentoring, trainings, helping other people, etc. So I'm the Mother Teresa of work, apparently, and then they give me a raise, which is a joke because I have a fixed and variable. A variable which is like bonus. It depends on your performance, not only performance, but the percentage that you are to the client and so on. And they gave me a raise, which is a complete joke, like 2K, 5K, something like that. Which, if it's variable, it means suppose you are 80% of the client and then it gets deducted and then so it was a joke basically. And I'm like, this guy has been lying to me for 2 years, telling me that you deserve a raise every 1 month, every 3 months. I mean, oh my God, the shame. And I was super frustrated and I knew I had to leave, in the sense. And that's what I say. Um, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. It's like, because this man was very money driven, and it's okay. In business, to be money driven is good, but you should be people driven first. Because if you are great at people management and you are good at being with people, believe me, they will work harder for you. They will make more money with you for you. You're going on the wrong direction. So yeah, I made my mind. I was like, this is over, over, over. It's not gonna happen. I'm like, I need to leave this place immediately. Otherwise, they will keep doing this to me. So because I was doing the work of project manager, I was handling like 2, 3 projects. It was a lot, and then still it wasn't changing anything, and I wanted to be a senior. I would fall for those things. So good for you. Yeah, I fell for it too, but at some point I was like, uh yeah.
Corinne said, I wonder if you were Albanian. I have great memories from my business visit in Albania. Amazing country, talented and generous people. She is. She's very, very,
Oh.
very nice. I should send you my resume.
Yeah, yes, sorry, Corinne, I didn't read this before. Thanks a lot. I am Albanian, actually. um So yeah, this guy, and I mean, I told him I want to be a senior. So in annual review, I wrote down, because you write your goals, what you want, and what's your plan, etc. And I wrote I want to be a senior consultant. So, and he was like, no, you need 5 years of experience. You need, I don't know, like you need this, you need to be an expert in this, blah, blah, blah. So they wanted me to keep me there even longer. So they're like, but stay here 5 years. No, like you're doing amazing job, but no raise. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm like, no, I'm like, live. And then I knew it's over. I just quit again with no plan. And all this happened during Corona times. And that everybody said, and then I was like, not going to happen. I knew that I wanted minimum to be a senior, a great salary. I wanted a jump, in the salary, because it was insane. And then I started applying again. And as I said again, it's a numbers game. I always say that now the rules are changing. But before, if you could apply to 200, 300 jobs, something will get out of it. And the same, um, I was applying a lot. I was getting a lot of interviews and so on. And another thing happens. Now a headhunter reaches out to me. Which is the best? I would recommend, if you want to find a good job, especially a highly paid job, reach out or be connected to headhunters or agencies. It is the best way. I did that, was not on my bingo card, but was the best thing that happened to me, because they get paid. So the higher you get paid, the higher they get paid. This is how. So for them, they want you to get paid well, because they'll get, I think, 30% or something. So we'll get a lot. So she reaches out to me, and I'm like, oh, I have this role, blah, 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 this money. And I told her, I want this amount of money. I want this title. And this, I was in consulting and so on. And a bit of also in financial and so on. And she made it possible. And again, in 2 weeks, I had a job and I jumped 3 titles and a salary of over 25K or even more.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's like headhunters are the best. I recommend everyone. But then what happens? I went to this job, which is famous and consulting, because consulting had a lot of money. I don't know now I think it's not the best time to join consulting, but so I would join the headquarters and you go to the client, which are super famous banks and in the industry leaders, etc. But the environment was really cold, I would say. you know when I see these banks, and I always say these are not for women, unfortunately. And the older you get, you are like, I have literally, I say, I have shivers when I go to these, enter these headquarters or these skyscrapers, which are totally gray. No life is like they suck the soul and joy out of you. It's so robotic. I don't know how to say it. It's like, so the older I got, even though I was very, I don't know, money driven, I wanted the title, I wanted the raise, I wanted that. It's like this Maslow needs, pyramid of needs, that you want the basic, but you are like at some point, oh, wait a minute, I'm not fulfilled. Like, because I had the money, I have the house, I'm wearing suits, I don't know, I'm meeting all these famous and rich people, and these people that blah, 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 their LinkedIn is on fire all time, all day long and so on. But why does it feel empty? You know? And that's why I say all the time, you should, you may know what you want at some point, but you should always check you with yourself and find out what makes your soul sing, so to say, what puts you on fire. And if it's not anymore, anytime, do not be afraid to change your career trajectory. Anytime. Like, you can be 40, 50, 60. It's your life. Nobody is going to come and save you. I say this all the time because I see people scared because they're like, I've been in this for 5 years, I've been in this in 10 years. And they just keep going and going and going because they think there's no other option. Like, I will never forget the day I was on a train from Frankfurt to Munich. And as I said, you have a lot of perks working in consulting. So you had this first class train tickets, you can go on a plane, and you have this, you can get even a company car, blah, blah, blah. Literally golden handcuffs. When is you get this famous salary, etc. And I met someone that I didn't. So I met him long time ago, and I saw, on a train randomly. It was 11 p.m. We were going back home because we are in Frankfurt for the client, and and I saw him, and he was completely with gray hair. Like, imagine this guy who has studied in the best universities and supposedly is one of the best companies, Big Four, in consulting and so on. I see this guy like with all the wrinkles and gray hairs at 35, which I remember full of life and passion and drive and energy. And I was like, hey, what's going on? And he was like, because in consulting, they say it's up and out, up or out all the time. You have like go, 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 like push, push, push. Then they say you want to move to the next level. You want this title. You want this. You want that. And then I remember this guy because it's literally hamster wheel. I remember him and saying, I have no life. I've been
Sad.
It's like I've been given this company, like, and as I told you, it's literally pyramid. The titles, that it gets it's more. How can I say? It's literally a jungle, corporate jungle. It's harder and harder to get up and up and up, and then less people. Then you have to navigate all the politics and stuff like that. And I see this guy terrified. And I think was terrified because he knew it was over. His dream was dead and he couldn't even leave it. because you also need courage to leave and courage to say. I always say you need courage in both ways. So,
Let me let me
yeah.
tell you this one thing. I was in Israel for 2 tours, okay? And what happens there is like the banks will allow you to borrow more than what you have, okay? And most of the people there, they have to work until they're dead. They can never afford to retire.
Mm.
Can you imagine that? I'm like, wow. I just wanted to use that as an example of what you're saying. And then here in the United States, it may become the same way, you know? So we can never put all of our eggs in one basket. We can never depend on
Yeah.
anything 100%.
Absolutely. And now that's why I think more and more is, nowadays that's why everybody's buying avocado and matcha latte. They're like, I cannot afford a house, but at least I'm going to enjoy my life. And also I would recommend everybody have a portfolio career. I know this term is still new, but as Margaret said, do not put all your eggs in one basket. 9 to 5 job is not safe in the sense that um do not get they do not owe you anything. I always say, even if you get laid off, even if they are mean to you, you are the CEO of your life and your career. So they do that, great, say thank you, move on, in the sense that you should be in charge. You should say, okay, they happen, I know they are mean, they are bad, I don't know, it's your life. You should take charge of it. You should be in charge. You say, what now? What should I do now? And as I said, it's like you try to do many things, like have a 9 to 5, have a side hustle, write articles, I don't know, try something on the weekend. So you cannot say, I do this and that's it. Unfortunately, 2025 is not enough.
We can see that, and the cost of living is just going to get higher and higher with all this government shutdown and tariffs. Every time the price of things go up, that means we have less money in our pockets
Yeah.
to sustain us. And so, how are we going to make up these losses? Okay, this also affects the markets as well. So that means that we have less buying power, and that our retirement money is dwindling as a result of all of these policies that are putting into place. So we
Yes,
need to be cognizant of that.
true. And I'm also reading Juliana's comment here. Uh, because she said, I am grateful that I have a supportive family. Yes, yes, and yes. It's great. I'm happy for you too. And everybody, I would recommend you to have a very strong support system. In the sense that, and somebody will say, oh, what if I don't have? You do, you know? I'm 100% sure almost everybody has. And if you don't, send us a DM, basically. Because I think I also had, hey, same happened to my sister. I also wrote about this, that she was in a company, in a marketing company, and she was working very hard. And she had a woman, she was like 50 something with 10 cats, and she blocked her from everyone. So she was allowed only to talk to her direct boss, and she was not allowed to take calls, to talk to other people. She was the one who would say, you didn't do well, do it again and again and again. So at some point, she was taking pills to sleep at night because she couldn't sleep. Imagine, at 20 years old, she was taking pills. And then she hated Sundays. Please, as they say, the Sundays will tell you a lot about your soul. If you feel this dread, if you feel like anxiety on Sunday, there is no job that deserves your Sundays. There's no job on earth that deserves your peace. And so I went to her room and she said, I hate Sundays because I have to work on Mondays. And then I went and I found the sleeping pills and I was terrified. I was literally terrified. I was like, how someone has so many dreams and life ahead of her. And I said, no, you're not going back. You're going to quit right here, right now. And then I'm super happy because she did, and now she loves her job and she's a manager. Because when you're in a thriving environment, you thrive even more. You give your best, you flourish. It's literally like the flower, if you leave it in the dark or you leave it in the light and you water it. So do the same, people, and I'm 100% sure that you have a support system. You should just remind yourself and also let other people know, that they are needed and you are there for them because it's give and take. Uh,
How did
yeah, please.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. I was going to ask you about your community. You have a thriving community to be such an introverted human being as I am. So, how did you go about all of that?
You mean that how I created so many, the entire page and accounts and.
No, it showed that you had over 130
Mm.
K. Okay, how did you do that?
I would say with storytelling, being myself, and talking about things that nobody talked before.
The
In
elephant
the
in the
sense,
room.
no, I mean, I always said, um, I think this is the best time to be yourself. It's like when everything is optimized and automated, the only rebellion left is to be real, Nobody wants to see anymore. I think when Instagram started or all these social media, they were showing all this, to spending 8-10 hours to make these perfect videos. I don't know, like showing a lifestyle that's not true because they wanted to get sponsors and brand partnership and stuff like that. Like, here, a day in my life, how I wake up. I'm a soft princess that does nothing all day, goes to Pilates and drink matcha, stuff like that. And I am like, and people I meet people and they're like, I want to be like that woman. You know that she has her laptop with her 24/7. I'm like, they're selling a dream, and I'm good. I mean, listen, there are people who do that and great, go for it. If it's you. You should also, for example, I wouldn't do it because I know it's not me. Or I would do it for one day, not every day, you know? Like, I cannot go to drink matcha all day long and stay there. Like, I don't know. It's just not me. What I'm trying to say is what I did, it was not my plan to be famous because some people said, like, oh, you're an influencer. And I said, influencer is a dirty word. Because I think Emily is another content creator and a storyteller because I think content. Sorry.
Yes, I thought it's
Can you hear
mine.
me? Ah, yeah.
Yes,
Can you
it's
hear me
better.
now?
It's
All
better.
right,
Yes.
good. Thanks a lot, Juliana. Um, and I wanted to say this that she told me, because they also the way they perceive you change immediately. They are like, oh, I didn't know you're famous. You are, and I said, influencer is a dirty word in the sense that you're not only an influencer. You're a writer, you're a storyteller, you're sharing insights, you're connecting, you're building communities. It's not just one thing. You're doing so many things at the same. You're doing social media. You're doing all this. And
Absolutely.
when I started, my goal was not to be famous or to write. So the funny thing is, last year I wrote a book which is called Diva's Dialogue: Navigating Men with Style and Wit, which I'll share. It will be for the public soon. So it was about datings and relationships, and the idea was like a Q&A session. So that's why the idea was Diva's Dialogue, in the sense that we are all the divas. I always say be a diva. No shame in that,
Hey,
because because they're like, oh, you're such a diva, and it was like a negative connotation, and I was like, yeah, be a diva, why not, you only live once. And then uh wrote that book, which was super Q&A, so short and straight to the point, no BS, maybe a bit old school, not just like I'm a bit against of all this too much rebellion, so to say, in the sense that if you give away everything for free and you're like, oh, I think you should reconsider a bit how the world, and where is it going. If you do not put any value on it, so everybody's like dating everybody and dating apps, and you're talking to 100 people at the same time. If everybody is doing the same, where is this going, because you have paradox of choice, and it's a mess basically, and nobody's getting anything because everybody's thinking, I can do better, I can do better, I can do better, and everybody's lonely as ever. That's why we are in this pandemic of loneliness. So yeah,
Wow.
I wrote this book, and to be honest, it was like just because I was thinking, especially for teenage girls. I want it to be for teenage girls that, hey, it's like very clear, short, and so on. And I wanted to post about this, about to promote my book. And I started a page, Instagram page on Threads to promote this. And I started doing this. And then I got laid off, like abruptly, unfortunately. And then I started writing about it, not just about layoff or laying off, but being laid off, but also like literally everything, because I was reading a lot. And as I said before, I used to job hop all the time. So whenever I didn't get the promotion, the raise, it got toxic and so on, I would job hop, job hop, job hop, job hop, job hop. And I was like, I'm doing something wrong. Because I need to learn people. I need to learn influence. I need to learn how to navigate. It's not about job hopping, because I hear people all the time also on the comments or when they text me, they're like, you don't have to do this. It's better and easier if you just go to another place and everything is fine. I'm like, yeah, in the beginning, everywhere is fine. Nobody will show their dark face in the first two days. And then I was like, okay, wait a minute, because people are everywhere. You need to learn how to navigate. And then I started reading, I started thinking, I shared all my lessons. So I was thinking literally what I went through all the time. And I was just writing and writing and writing and writing. And it went viral. I was, in the beginning, I was writing only on Threads. And I would get comments and DMs because Threads, now Instagram was promoting Threads. They were like, go to Threads, go to Threads. And people would text me and DM me like, hey, I need to know the whole story. Please post it here. I want you to post it here on Instagram. And this is how it started, and then it went viral again and again and again. So because I think that's why I think many people are not talking about it, because we were never taught. So people say like, okay, get a job. They will tell you how to, I don't know, like how to apply, how to write a CV, how to interview, but nobody tells you what to do when you get the job. You know
Exactly.
what happens after you get the job? Or I always say, keep and quit your job. That's also part of the plan. You should also know how to quit the job. So that was it actually. As I said, like people, I also was yesterday in a workshop, and they were like, sometimes you don't find the purpose, because I say, what's your purpose, what's your purpose, I want to find my purpose. Sometimes purpose finds you. That's a way. And I didn't believe it for a very long time. I think I had inferiority complex, or I thought I'm not good enough to do this, or I don't know. I was just in my bubble because I'm not used to show my face. Although I write a lot, so I feel very confident in being in my own bubble. So I write a lot, I express my thoughts, and so on. But and then one day my sister, that's why I say support system is extremely important, she was going through the DMs and comments, and she literally started crying. She was like, and because she would read all these comments, you changed my life, you're God sent, I got the promotion, I just I took a leap of faith and stuff like that. And she was like, wow, you're doing such a great thing, and I took that for granted. I was like, nah, it's not a big deal.
Wow. You have an amazing story. Now, Joanna, when you coming out with your book?
Uh, yeah. So my goal is to put it today for pre-order. Okay, don't come for me. It's like I want, because I've been working on it, and it's yeah, it takes more time than I thought, for sure. And I'm writing and writing and writing, and yeah.
Well, we would definitely like to have you back to talk about your book and whatever else is on your mind.
Yes. Will do gladly.
Does okay, an advocate for the spirit said, now we can live life is an act of evolvement. That is true. It is. We all evolve. Um, do anyone have any questions for Joanna? This has been very, very informative. And I had no idea the magnitude of your power and influence until after we talked. And I'm like, oh my God, you
I
are
get the same.
amazing.
I get the same reaction yesterday as I told you I was in an event. And I don't know, because maybe at first I look very shy, very introvert, and I am. I think I'm an ambivert, so it depends. So if I like the topic, I'm passionate, I'll be like jumping and I would be like talking nonstop and so on. And they tell me, okay, give me your socials, or like social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, and they look in their faces like, wait a minute, I did not expect this. So you're like, you are famous, you're an influencer. So
Yes, and I don't know what how you reached out to me, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be connected to you. Honestly, thank you so much.
thank you.
Yes. Kyra said, thank you for sharing your journey with us. Yes, and thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Thank you,
Yes. Thank you
everybody.
so much.
So if you have any question, please let us know, or you can reach out to us anytime.
Absolutely. I don't see that anyone has any questions. But yeah, they can reach out to you and they can also reach out to me. And we're good. Thank you so much, Joanna. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you, Margaret.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Have a
Oh,
great day.
she said, advocate said, you didn't tell, you didn't just tell your story, you shared a soul's journey to its purpose.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thanks a lot.
Yes. Thank you so much. You take care.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.